After months of tension, more turnover in the White House. On Tuesday, President Trump fired his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, and replaced him with CIA Director Mike Pompeo. Now, Dr. Lee Hanna is a professor of political science at Wright State University, and he is here now to take a look at this latest shakeup. So I think a lot of people, this came as a surprise. Yesterday, it was breaking news during our morning show when the president actually tweeted the announcement. Any surprise to you?
It was not a surprise that they were on the outs and that this has really never been an excellent relationship between the two. These rumors have been reported as far back as last August and September. The fact they did it yesterday with this looming North Korea meeting in the future was certainly surprising, and then kind of the manner in which he did it was also surprising.
What do you think about that style, the tweeting the announcement? Because we're actually hearing that Rex Tillerson learned of this change, and basically his firing, on social media.
Yeah, there's been some mixed messaging on that, in terms of there's been some talk that at least John Kelly, the chief of staff, warned him that something was coming. But as far as the moment and the hour, he had no idea. And what is interesting is normally when you have a transition, especially at historically the most prominent cabinet position, you have everything ready to roll out. There's a statement, there's been a meeting in person, you know, all of these things. So the fact that it was done in such a non-traditional way, you know, in some ways it's I guess it kind of fits this tenor that we've seen in this administration, where it has been pretty fast-paced and non-traditional, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned moving forward, and one thing that we do know, as I said before, is Mike Pompeo is said to be in as the new Secretary of State. Now, that selection by President Trump, does that come as any surprise?
So we know that Pompeo has a good relationship with President Trump, and so the good news, if you're at the State Department or if you're a supporter of Trump, I think that they're going to be on the same page at a much greater level than Rex Tillerson ever was with the president. The bad news is, if you don't care for the way President Trump handles foreign policy, he now doesn't really have that check in place from the State Department, where Tillerson in some ways was almost as much of a check as he was an asset.
Which for a lot of people, that's a good thing to have, that checks and balances system. With Mike Pompeo at the table, what does that do for the State Department and unifying the department, you think?
So they should be more empowered in the future. And when Tillerson came in, I mean, he was competing with you know, people like Jared Kushner and Steve Bannon for access. Well, they're all gone now. And as we look to this second year of the Trump administration, you could see them settle into kind of having the people that's at least how President Trump put it yesterday. He says, I kind of now have the team that I really want. He didn't have a pre-existing relationship with Tillerson. Tillerson was a political outsider. And so now, you know, I think he's finding those people that are more like-minded to position in these high-profile roles.
Well, you mentioned that, you know, he now has the team in place that he really wants, but it hasn't been an easy road to get there. There's been a ton of turnover over the last year. Yes. How unprecedented is that in the first year of a presidency?
By really any metric, this is the most turnover. I think he has twice the amount of turnover as Reagan did in his first year, and the same to Clinton. Those are the two that were maybe the most topsy-turvy. If you look at a position like Secretary of State, the last 6 have served a 4-year period, you know, and they're big names: Condi Rice, Colin Powell, Hillary Clinton, you know, John Kerry. So, you know, the fact that he had such a short tenure, only I think Alexander Haig is around the same time period back in the Reagan administration. So you have to go back that far to see a transition there. But certainly everything from shakeups at the FBI to advisors leaving, this has certainly been a tumultuous year in terms of turnover.
Definitely keeps us on our toes.
It does, yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee Hanna, for coming in.